What is up, all of you horror fans? Longlegs is a brand new film from Osgood Perkins starring Maika, Monroe, and Nicolas Cage, and it's being called one of the scariest movies of all time. I had the opportunity to go see it this week along with a Q&A with director Osgood Perkins. And I think the question that a lot of us are asking after seeing this movie is, was it worth all of the hype? Did it live up to the scariest movie ever title that social media has given to it? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. This is my spoiler-free review. Before I dive in, as always, make sure you guys smash like and then subscribe if you're new here, because you might as well give yourself a gift. It's almost your birthday. But Longlegs. Synopsis reads, FBI agent Lee Harker is assigned to an unsolved serial killer case that takes an unexpected turn, revealing evidence of the occult. Harker discovers a personal connection to the killer and must stop him before he strikes again. And my initial thoughts straight away, right when I was walking out of the theaters, I was just thinking to myself, this is exactly what I was hoping for. And when it comes to the question of, is it scary or is it that scary? Yes, it is that scary. But in a way that might feel a little bit unexpected. Some people might go into this thing expecting jump scare horror, and I'd say it's definitely leaning on the side of psychological horror. Although there aren't a zillion scary moments, the moments that are will absolutely chill you to the bone. There was one moment in particular involving a camera that made my stomach drop in a way that I haven't felt in so long with a horror movie. And with a villain like this, being played by an actor like Nicolas Cage, it's like they literally struck gold. And this is sort of a phenom that's been happening lately with Ethan Hawke and Black Phone. You got this upcoming Heretic movie starring Hugh Grant. You're taking these kind of normal household names and putting them in a role that's so outside the norm that it makes you uncomfortable. The difference here is Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage, and he has the range to shoot this through the freaking roof. He's more than just a man in some makeup in this film. He's a monster, a truly terrifying and disgusting human being. And what the marketing did and what this movie does by hiding his face until a proper reveal is absolutely genius. I love how none of the trailers showed his face. I love sitting through this movie and just getting glimpse after glimpse and just being like, God, what does he look like? Like, it's so terrifying, the little bits and pieces you get until it all pieces itself together and he's just there, and it is frightening. You're like, oh, that's actually even worse than I was expecting. And the persona he creates here and the voice he talks in makes the Cage man completely disappear. It's incredible. He has this vocal range that not a lot of other actors have, and he also sings in this movie, and it's just so weird and zany and wacky, and I love it. But then there is Maika Monroe. And you know, during the Q&A that I attended after the movie, I was a little bit disappointed because nobody asked about Maika Monroe. I had my hand raised and I was trying to get in there, but there was just too many questions and it didn't get to me. But I really feel like as much as people will come away from this movie talking about Nicolas Cage, Maika is such a freaking force in this film. It's almost unbelievable. And maybe we've all just come to expect that, like she's always going to be incredible now after It Follows and Watcher, but she gives this performance that rivals a Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs, or even a Jake Gyllenhaal in Zodiac. There is this paranoia and anxiety that she wears on her ghostly looking face that makes you, as the viewer, so insanely uncomfortable. She's one of the most talented actresses working right now. Honestly, we've been lucky. The past 2 weeks, we get Mia Goth and Maxine, and then Maika Monroe in this. The women of horror are cooking right now, and it's awesome. But the film focuses on a specific string of murders that have been taking place in the area for decades, left with coded messages with the tag name Longlegs. And the film is divided in 3 parts, the first 2 of which are very much keyed into the Longlegs investigation. And then the third act takes a bit of a turn, and if there's anything that could possibly be divisive about this film, it might be this part. I don't know, it completely worked for me. This movie has some psychological elements, but there are also some spiritual elements, and you can see a little bit of that in the trailers. And for me, what ends up happening only adds to the movie. It doesn't hinder it in any way. It checked all of my boxes. True crime, horror, paranormal, wacky, beautiful. Oh, I also forgot to include that I saw this on a 35mm print. It was film, and it gave this beautifully unique, grungy, kind of dirty look to the movie. I'm really not sure how widely accessible that's going to be, but if you have the opportunity to do it, definitely do it. But with that aside, just watching this film and paying attention to it, it just felt like Osgood Perkins was swinging for the fences. Some of these shots are crazy, and it just adds to the vibe, because this movie throws you into the depths of somewhere dark and eerie. It throws you into what's behind the scenes, the unexpected and terrifying things in life, the man downstairs. For instance, if somebody gets kidnapped, say, and their kidnapper is in a car, the person that is in that car already has a plan. They know full and well what they're going to do, and then the victim on the other side of it has zero idea what's coming. That's the sort of message that this movie gives off, or feeling maybe I should say. Just that uncomfortable thought that someone might be out there planning something about you and you have no idea. But then there's the question of if things can control us that we can't see. This movie is filled with filled space and also with empty space, and you can see it in the camera work. You'll notice that in some of these shots, just the amount of room above someone's head is ridiculous, and it just speaks to the physical and the immaterial, or at least it did for me. I'd say the peak of this film lands in this interrogation room scene, the Jodie Foster Hannibal Lecter scene, and we have this Agent Lee Harker sitting across from Longlegs. And all I would say about this is just there are some scary moments in this film, but this one scene alone is akin to moments like the, even like the Batman Joker interrogation scene, like iconic moments where two characters, two forces of nature are facing each other. And one of them just has this energy that is so uncontrolled and so out of nowhere, it just creates chaos. And honestly, I know some horror people out there just get afraid by this and they might not understand what I mean by saying it, but I thought it was beautiful, if that makes sense. And this movie is just crazy. You'll be on the edge of your seat during it and also after it, because it'll leave you with a lot of open-ended questions. This is honestly the first horror movie in quite some time that I've wanted to rewatch like immediately after. There's been horror movies this year that I'm like, I can't wait to watch that again. But this movie, I was like, dude, I gotta get a ticket for that again this weekend. But overall, Longlegs is about as good as it gets in the horror genre, and it just goes to show that us fans in the horror community are eating good right now. And as always here on the channel, I gotta give my Jones Vibes star rating, and my friends, I'm giving Longlegs 5 out of 5 stars, a perfect score, no doubt. But if you saw this movie, please let me know all of your thoughts down below. What did you think of Maika Monroe and Nicolas Cage? And if you haven't seen it, do you plan on seeing it? Are you a fan of horror films? Let me know all that down below. I read every comment that comes in, and I would greatly appreciate it. But my friends, don't forget to click on another video after this. I have plenty. Make sure you smash the like button. You can follow me on X at Jones Vibes Only, and don't forget to keep up the good vibes. But that was Longlegs. Cuckoo.